Hey folks, welcome to the deep dive. Ian, thank you for joining as you always do. Sounds like these last few film sessions have been a big hit. We need you guys to reflect that. Subscribe, like this channel, and then of course make sure you're going to Inside Texas for the best content that you can find. You got a buck? Yeah, you got a buck. Go get in on the best Longhorn conversation and read Ian Boyd and me and a bunch of other folks who are at the very top of the game of the Longhorn information sphere. Ian, we saw some really great things from the Oklahoma game, but one of the things that we both sort of agree on is that Oklahoma, that game can often be a one-off because of the emotion, because of a novel scheme, because some player just decides to play out of their mind that day, or another player succumbs to the pressure and throws the game away. Does it always apply to the rest of the season? Not really. So what we're going to try to do is look at some individual things that we saw in this game that we think Texas might be able to carry forward. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah. There's another category in there too, and that's that Texas starts doing the right thing after the Oklahoma game, which we haven't seen in a long time, but that used to be a staple of the 2000s, where Texas would go on a run after the Oklahoma game and fix things that the Sooners had exposed for them. Hopefully Florida did that for Sark this year, and the things that we're about to talk about will be things that they can build on.
Well, the loss and the scoreboard can be motivating, but we cannot let victory defeat us. Right, Ian?
That's right.
All right, let's go. So let's do it, and let's roll the tape.
All right, our first example comes in the first quarter, 2nd and 5, ball in Oklahoma 47 with 3 minutes before the second quarter. And we're going to see Arch escape the pocket. That's always nice when your quarterback can do that. Doesn't just drift into the back of his lineman. And then throw across his body down the field to the slot receiver, DeAndre Moore, for a big gain. Paul, this is like your classic college quarterback. Now even your NFL quarterback. Can you do this? If you can, that is a big plus.
Yeah, what I like about this play is as we run it, I think OU does a pretty good job in coverage here. They're in zone, and you'll see DeAndre Moore initially settle in a gap in the zone. He's going to see Arch start to escape, and so DeAndre is going to do the smart thing, and he's going to go mirror Arch and go find another open gap because obviously the first one wasn't working. So watch DeAndre Moore run to space here. Boom, 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 boom. Arch is going to set, and he's going to throw the ball. That's a difficult throw. Like moving one way, throwing back across the other way to a moving receiver. DeAndre Moore had not settled here, right?
He's wide open, Paul, and so is the fade route at the top of the screen.
We're channeling a favorite Twitter OU personality who doesn't understand openness in zone coverage. But yeah, I mean, OU's not doing a poor job here. Arch is able to buy time. DeAndre Moore is able to find new space coming from the other side of the formation. And I'm just very impressed by this. One thing I want to show you from the back view that I think is important is our protection. So as we snap the ball.
Paul, this is a 3-man rush, and one of the 3 is a late coming safety.
There you go.
Bam.
Stuff that had confounded us against Florida.
Yeah.
And what you're going to see here is these guys aren't doing robotic protection. They are looking for work. They're helping each other. They punish that safety for coming. Like, hey, don't come back. DJ Campbell repeatedly in this game plays with a fire that we had not seen all season. And you saw some of that in our prior All-22 breakdown. But I really like this. The protection's good. The problem is Arch doesn't have a window. So he's like, hey, I'm not fleeing pressure. I'm just resetting because I need to buy a little more time because our initial route combinations aren't open against their zone. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Absolutely. They were completely locked up. They have the post safety over the post. One of the other safeties, I believe, picked up the deep cross, or else they handled it with linebacker depth.
And again, you could see Moore settling in at the top of the screen. Arch can't see him or he doesn't like the look. Plus, he's covered, right? Those OU guys are going to break on the ball. And so Moore's going to go follow Arch in his evolution out of the pocket. and then he's going to find new space. I mean, this is just a really good play. And frankly, it's the kind of play that if I'm an OU defensive coach, I'm not really giving my guys a hard time for this one. I mean, it's just a great play.
You're just hope they don't do that again.
Yeah, but I think the takeaway from this is Arch is really starting to see the field. And I think his vision is starting to go from here out to here. And that's a good thing for Texas. All right, Longhorn fans, we've got third quarter, 3rd and 4, 9:57, balls on the OU 25. And we're going to see some really smart play. We're going to see good protection from our O-line. We're going to see very heady play from Arch Manning and his poise. And we're going to see great stuff from Ryan Wingo. This is not I'm a great athlete type receiver stuff, Ian. This is I'm a great receiver doing receiver stuff. Let's break this down. Ian, what do you see here?
Well, they have Wingo on this cheat motion deal, and he runs in between the two receivers, which we were just commenting before running this live that I don't think any of the three of us have ever seen that before. Did not seem to confuse Oklahoma, fortunately, but it did confuse us.
Do we dub this the Gates of Wingo?
The Gates of Wingo. I think that's decent.
Okay.
Really what makes the play work, though, is that Arch is going to his left, and then he throws the ball back across to the right, which is hard to do. Barely hits it, but there's always going to be a seam for that because defenses will react. Zone defenders will go where you look and where you go.
Amazing insight on zone defense, Ian. That's true. So what I really like about what Wingo does here, and I think you'll even see it from the backside, or like, let's stay on this view. He's going to work back across. So look at what his initial route concept is. He's supposed to stop and then work back across up the field. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He sees Arches rolling. He's covered. I mean, this OU is doing a really nice job here. And he's going to spin and basically work back across. And that is what gives him the space and gives Arch Manning the opportunity to throw this ball. Now, could Arch have kept this ball and run? Absolutely. But he's going to eat a hit, and he's probably going to gain the same amount or slightly less yardage than he got with this throw.
Live, I was definitely saying, go. When he threw it and he just barely connected on it, I was like, that's fine.
I'll take that. Another thing, too, don't underestimate how hard it is to run hard and to the left when you're a right-handed quarterback and throw across your body to a guy moving the other direction. I know some of you do your half jog in the backyard and you're like, oh, I threw that. Mahomes. Run real fast. Throw back across your body to the left if you're right-handed to a guy going the other way, and you will laugh out loud at what the result is. But Arch does something really clutch here. Here's what I love about our protection, Ian. Again, I know I've been really hitting hard on slide protection and how much I hate its robotic employment. This is zone man protection. Look how heady we are. That's good pro. Arch just fled to get a window. He wasn't really getting pressured. And then I want you to watch DJ Campbell, who's on a freaking tear in this game, go and look for work inside. How many times, Ian, did we give DJ grief against Florida for unnecessarily going out on the tackle?
At least once.
At least once. Many more times behind the scenes. But look, he's going to help Cole Hudson out here. Love it. Arch says, hey, I can't really see, and my guys are covered. I need to buy a little time and see if I can do a little backyard football. And this is a very appropriate use of backyard football. I love how he squares his body to throw that. And that's what enables, those mechanics enable that throw and that completion. And I'm just really proud of Wingo here for working to open space and giving Arch a shot.
He also, Wingo was the guy he was looking to, like, hey, come with me.
Yep.
And so he's got eyes on him. And so then when Wingo pulls that spin move, Arch actually sees it.
Yep.
That level of being in sync there that we saw from him and then from Moore on the previous play. If Arch can develop that level of trust with them like he has with Livingston, then this offense gets just exponentially more deadly over the course of the season.
Yeah, that's 100%. And so why are we showing you this? Well, one, it's a great play. Two, this is another takeaway of Arch freelancing, but still within structure and keeping his mechanics and keeping his cool and his poise and his rhythm within the offense and the receivers responding to it. That is what really gives you hope for some upside for this Texas passing game going forward.
All right, Paul, our next one, it's the third quarter, 2nd and 8, 14:33 in the quarter on the Texas 27. They're going to run. Is it inside zone? Is it duo? Does it really matter? They're going to run an inside running play with the motioning tight end, and there are a number of things that are positive here to praise different Longhorns for. Let's start with Brooks. Brooks is going to handle a slanting defensive tackle, sees the defensive tackle running himself out of the play, guides him where he's already trying to go, just turns him, and then to our shock, turns all the way around and is able to connect in a good football position on the next defender while Wisner is cutting against the grain behind him. That's a lot better than I think a lot of people are expecting from Brooks in this game.
Ian, he's 18 years old. He got all of his practice reps at tackle. And then 2 weeks ago, they said, we need you to be our starting left guard. Cool. And you're going to play some guys who are going to be in the NFL in a couple of years. And he said, cool. And he understands the concept of the run because he understands if I turn this guy where he wants to go, he's irrelevant to the play now. And now I'm going to go find work. And he's athletic to go do it, Ian. One of the worst things that O-line will do is when something unexpected happens, they'll stand in the hole and stand straight up. And your back runs into their guy's back. Yes. Does the oh my God Cobra. And your running back runs right into his back. Brooks is like, hey, let me dispatch this guy. He's out of the play. And now I'm going to go upfield and find work. He doesn't stand static. And he understands where the run is going. So he even turns the right direction. Just really heady play from an 18-year-old guy who has all of 2 weeks of guard work. And it's very impressive. Also, notice that we're in double tight. We're going to bring the backside tight end on a pull to help get some numbers and leverage. We're going to basically pass block our Mason Thomas on the backside. Sooner edges love to run upfield, and they love to seek out like cheap sacks, cheap TFLs. So let's just make sure he goes upfield, and then we're going to ignore him. He's not relevant. We're going to do the same thing to one of their blitzing linebackers here, 10. That's Kip Lewis. Same deal. Hey, you want to go that way? Great, I'll take you that way. You're not relevant to the play anymore. That's really heady play, man. If you're going to run zone concepts, your players individually have to make those decisions for it all to come together and cohere.
They traded those really well too. Kip Lewis tried to cross Campbell's face late, and he picked it up, and Hudson was able to pick up the 3 technique coming from the other side. David Stone, very impressive.
Very impressive example. So we were talking about how outside zone punished their stunts, their replacement games, their little movement games that they like to play. We also did it in a very straightforward downhill run inside. This is very heady play from the Texas O-line. And so is this an OU one-off? I'm seeing things of first principle football, not being a dumb squiggle on the whiteboard, that I think we can carry forward, Ian. Maybe I'm being crazy here, but to me, that's the takeaway. Do you want to talk about this Wisner cut here and why that's maybe underrated?
Yeah, the Wisner cut is great. He's like reading the linebacker, number 11, I think. And he's going to go, okay, I'm going to go outside. There's a safety filling. He's keeping an eye on the linebacker. When the linebacker tries to follow him where he goes, he cuts back to the space that the linebacker just surrendered. And he works back underneath his blocks and against the flow and against the grain. This top-level manipulation.
And he just gets behind his pads and goes north-south. Like he knows he's not breaking this, but hey, I can make a 7, 8, 9 yard run here. And if we can do this consistently, we're going to do what we did to OU in the second half, which was possess the ball and just grind them up and down the field.
Sark noted that he thought Wisner did really well in this game because he got to run the same two main concepts over and over again and see how they were developing. And I wonder how much of all the things we're seeing in this game were just a result of we're going to run outside zone and we're going to run this tight zone duo play. And y'all are going to get used to how it looks. And you're going to actually develop mastery of the concept.
Well, I am a strong believer that in the run game, you need an in and out menu, not a Cheesecake Factory menu. The way you deal with the diversity of a defense is not 57 different run concepts. It's nailing 2 or 3 distinct run concepts against any kind of front. There's the famous Lombardi sweep where he spends, an hour diagramming how you block it against every possible front. And you realize this is a guy who understands the in and out menu. And I think maybe we're starting to evolve that way. Again, we don't know, but there's some strong data here for our coaches to reflect on. And that, we can leave it at that.
Yep.
Hey, folks, do you guys need to buy a house or do you need to refi your current house? There's only one call you need to make. You got 10 numbers coming your way. I want you to write them down. 832-557-1095. Enter that in your phone because now you've got a connection with the best damn mortgage guy in the great state of Texas. He can also do mortgages for you outside of the great state of Texas. That's Gabe Winslow. You can reach him at 832-557-1095. Why Gabe? Over 20 years in the industry, former National Merit Scholar. He's got a law degree. This guy is exceptional at what he does. And we have reams of 5-star reviews from all the folks that he's helped from this channel and beyond. Just call Gabe. Don't screw around with this. It's one of the most important financial decisions you'll make in your life. Get the best in your corner. That's Gabe Winslow. 832-557-1095. All right, Ian, we've got brick walls up because we're talking Texas defense, and it was a brick wall against the Oklahoma Sooners. We're pulling out every cliche Sharon Moore style, and we want to give tribute to this defense. I want to show you one of the headiest high IQ football plays you'll see from a Texas defensive lineman in the form of Hero Kanu. This is the second play of the game. OU is going to double every Longhorn defensive lineman except for Hero Kanu on the backside. And they're going to run an option. They're going to run a zone read with Mateer and the running back, a late motion of the running back to further confuse and dirty the picture for us. And you're going to see Hero Kanu not run blindly up the field like a defensive lineman like they expect, like an OU defensive lineman would. He's going to stop, realize it's a trap, and he's going to slow play it and then run straight down the line of scrimmage and tackle the running back for 0 yards. This is about as high IQ a play as you'll see. Let's look at the rear end version, Ian, and you can narrate what's going on here with these double teams and then what Kanu is doing.
Well, they don't get that great a movement on the double teams. Is one of the problems here. They totally fail to confuse.
Hey, Ian, look behind your shoulder. That's why.
That's why. That's right. They don't get any confusion for Kanu. If they were hoping to get Texas to chase Mateer early and spare him from having to actually run the ball himself, they totally failed on the second play of the game. And then not only did they not get Kanu out of position to open up potential gaps, but he gets all the way over from the B gap all the way to the opposite B gap to make that stop. Helped, of course. Go ahead.
He gets flat. He does not sprint up the field when he feels that he's unblocked. Look at him. He immediately stops and goes, you're trying to trick me. He kind of slow plays the exchange and says, you have to make a decision, then I'll make a decision. And then he runs flat. He doesn't try to angle up and destroy Mateer, right? This is just such a high IQ play. And to your point, they didn't even get really good push with all their double teams. No. That's a problem that will plague them for the rest of the game. But this is the second play of the game. You're full of adrenaline. You've been told, let's destroy John Mateer anytime they run option. And he has this intelligence and wherewithal to say, whoa, this is a trap. I'm going to slow play you, and I'm going to make a play here, 0 yard game.
All right. Just instructing our producer on a meme to make for the future. But for now, we've got second quarter with 12:43 left. It's 3rd and 2. Oklahoma is in 4-0 unbalanced, which I think might have tipped their hand to Texas on what they were going to do. What they're going to do is run quarterback follow. It's basically just like quarterback power, run behind lead blocks by the tight end and the running back. And what we're going to see here is that although they are running at freshman Lance Jackson, and then later towards, is it sophomore Tyanthony Smith? Neither of those exchanges go well for the Oklahoma Sooners, Paul.
No, they don't. And by the way, shout out to Michael Taff down at the bottom covering the slot. Basically just disregards the guy in his block, like literally just ignores him. Like, you're not a relevant football player to me. I'm just going to go run to the ball. And the OU player's like, oh, man. Oh, shucks. But we're going to show you this from the behind view, and you'll really appreciate the future of this Texas defense and the brick wall. Watch what Lance Jackson does to another poor OU tight end. Now, you know Ian and I love to pick on the OU tight ends, but there's a reason. Watch this. Watch what a true freshman does to their tight end. Nah! Not only does he discard him, but he destroys the whole play concept because of how violent he was at the point of contact. Mateer goes, whoop, puts on the brakes. Maybe I can salvage this. Lance Jackson's in hot pursuit. I mean, this guy not only is big and powerful and physical, but he's fast. I mean, he's legitimately fast. He runs Mateer down here. But I really want you to appreciate what Tyanthony Smith does here. Look at the discipline, because the initial read for Ty Smith is OU is running to my right. I need to get right and go participate. It's 3rd and 2. Like, we got to go get a stop here. All of the flow of that play is right. And what does Tyanthony Smith do as the backside linebacker?
He saw that really, really well, which is fortuitous.
He never overruns the ball, Ian.
Yeah.
He's always even. So look, he's backside and he's going to start to drift a little. He never goes further than the ball. Watch. And now I'm going to cut with you. I'm going to mirror you. I'm going to scrape. Beautiful tackle. 4th down with Lance Jackson in support from behind. This is really good fundamental textbook play from young Texas players. And while we can be critical of PK about some things, rest assured, at the positional level, this is a very well-coached, very well-instructed defense. All right, Ian, we've got some more defensive goodness here, which is just shows a really well-coordinated defense that is playing coverage, but still doesn't have to give up on getting pressure and a sack. Good 4-man rush, and we're going to see really good cooperation here between Colin Simmons and Brad Spence as we have airtight coverage behind. John Mateer, it's quarter 4, 2nd and 10, 2:18 left in the game. Ball's on the OU 39. It's going to be a sack. And we want to show you why containment and coverage work together perfectly. We're going to get an initial good run from Brad Spence up on the top of the screen. He is going to get around Fasusi. And then he's going to stay flat and pursue. I want you to watch Colin Simmons down at the bottom. He's going to spin move inside, looking for a hole. Doesn't see it. What does a good edge do when there's nothing there? They retrace back out to containment. Also, it helps to run a 4.5 40.
Sometimes he does things that they're great, but they're also like, he can just do anything. He can go so fast in any direction on a dime. And that really helps.
Our excellent producer is showing you that we are in zone coverage and that all the OU receivers are covered. I understand that there are people who see space between zone defenders and a receiver and they think that the guy's open. When the ball gets thrown, that guy's not open, I assure you.
If Mateer would just Derek Jeter zip it across his body, across the length of the field.
45 yards.
Might have gotten 1st down here.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that's just wide open. How can he not see that? So as we go to the back view, you'll get a real appreciation of what Spence does to get the flush and then Colin Simmons does to get the cleanup. Okay. Spence is going to get around Fasusi. Fasusi doesn't do a bad job here, but Spence is going to outwork him. And then look how quickly Colin Simmons appears when it looked like to Mateer as he was escaping that he had the edge, right? He spent a whole career at Washington State and playing lesser opponents at OU, where right now that picture means a wide open throw downfield or he's going to run for 18 yards. Watch how quickly Colin Simmons rolls out of this. 3 guys are on Simmons. Simmons says, I'm going to roll out of this and get away from this crowd, and I'm going to go make a sack. And Mateer goes, how the hell did these guys in burnt orange jerseys keep appearing? This didn't happen to me when we were playing Idaho State back in Pullman. And it's the education that John Mateer is getting about facing elite defenses. So not only is he going to get hit and worked over by Simmons, he's going to get hit by Spence from the backside. Getting hit by Spence does not feel good either. Oh!
Right on the hand.
Yeah, not good. And you
He
see
gave himself up real quick, too.
Sorry, Ian?
He gave himself up real quick, too, when it happened. He was
he had to. And then you'll see Ethan Burke and the other guys behind him like LaFau and Hill, all with the triumphant hand up saying, we got him. But this is a textbook example of total team defense. Pass rush, containment, coverage, sack. And this is something that we need to carry forward against the likes of Diego Pavia, Marcel Reed, Taylon Green, and Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, especially Reed. I think that's the one that scares us the most right now, yeah?
Yeah, because if he gets free, I'm not scared of his feet. I'm scared of the guys at the end of his possible throw.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the Inside Texas Deep Dive Film Study Edition, Paul. They're all film study editions now. You guys have been loving it, and we love making them. Make sure you subscribe down below on this button. I'm going to click that. You're going to go to InsideTexas.com and join us next time, and join us on the website.